Hey guys, welcome back. It is a Wednesday evening. Got off work about 2 hours ago, and so I have a 45-minute drive home, which is never bad. It lets me listen to music, it lets me kind of just clear my thoughts and get ready for the evening. I'm very fortunate to when I come home, my husband majority of the time already has dinner made for me, so I get to just eat, hang out with my kids, and then get to play in the garden, which is what I did today. Sorry, the table kept shaking. But tonight, really, I just wanted to get some new seeds started for my cut flowers. So if you watched my video yesterday, I talked about how one of my mistakes this year was putting all of these seeds out in row, just in the open ground. I covered it with straw, thinking that that would be enough cover and keep it from washing away, things like that. But from those, I had a good amount of sunflowers pop up, not all of them, but a good amount of them. I'm almost curious if it's the seed variety that I got, because 2 sets of the row, in the row that I have of sunflower seeds, there's 4 sections, because there were 4 different sunflower seeds that I planted. 2 of them were varieties that I bought from Lowe's, while 2 of them were varieties I bought from Floret. And so I'm curious to see if maybe that is a difference in the 2, but the sunflowers and then 2 cosmos plants are actually the only things that germinated, and so that's not gonna work. Back to the drawing board, and so I'm really working with what I got. At the beginning of the year, I accidentally ordered the wrong size pots to get things started off of Amazon. They're these little bitty tiny pots, this big. And they are very cute and everything. I didn't really have a use for them. I bought some new things to get seeds started, but now I'm running out of stuff and I want to kind of use what I have instead of going out and buying more. That was one reason I saved a bunch of seeds just in case. And so that's what I'm using today, along with just some very generic potting soil I had laying around. Once I get them in the ground, the soil in the yard has been amended with lime, where these would be going, and so hopefully they won't need a whole lot more, plus the fertilizer I use should hopefully boost that up once they get in the ground. So really, I just want to get on here tonight and kind of take you through the process that I have. I have recently found Bloom and Gray, I believe is what it's called, or Gray and Bloom, here on YouTube and on Instagram. She's a flower farmer from the UK named Sarah, and she actually had a really good tip on how to handle small seeds, and that was to use a pencil as far as like getting them planted. So the first thing I'm going to plant are some new Cosmos seeds. Let's look and see what kind these are. So this is the Purity variety. I think these honestly are a lot like the ones I already have out in my little garden that was from my seeds in February that I started. So we'll see. I don't remember the variety. Oh, so the ones I planted in the spring were actually Double Click Snows, I believe. I was not very well prepared, I would say, for the first group that I did, and they did not get little markers like this group will. So that's what we're going to start with first. So these, they get between 42 and 48 inches high, and they need full sun, and it takes them about 75 to 90 days to germinate. See what they look like. Here's the packaging. I got these from Floret. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, please let me know. I'm horrible with names. I'm honestly like the worst. And I'd love to be better. So this is what the seeds look like. They're just very plain little flower seeds. These are big enough to where I won't really need a pencil, and I'm gonna put 2 in a container just to kind of save space and time. Also just to make sure that I at least get germination in these pots once. And so with these, I'm just honestly gonna tuck them down, poke them in the soil, and just get to going. These have been one of my favorite things that actually have germinated in my first row of cut flowers. They've done fantastic. It's obviously a different variety, but they've still done really well, and I'm excited to see how these do. I actually think I might even have a few of these seeds left over. Oh no. I dropped one in a random pod. I won't know where that's at. I work for a staffing agency in Little Rock, Arkansas. It's about 45 minutes away from where I live. Commuting into the city for work is honestly pretty common for where I live. I do live in a small city, and it's a very nice small town, but it is a very small town. The closest city to us is about 25-30 minutes away, and so it's pretty normal to have to drive for work. My mom did it as I was a kid. She's worked in Little Rock my whole life, so it's just something that is part of the normal, living in a small town. So I work with about 6 people pretty regularly. They're like part of my office team, and it's such a great group of people, honestly. We all have our days and everything, but I never thought I would be so fortunate to work with such amazing people, and even more so the people that I work for. I work for a very small family-owned business, and it's very rewarding to know who you're working for as far as like the people and how they treat others, and so that's very important to me. Love it. They have been great. A big support system, honestly, for my gardening as well, which I am kind of surprised about. A lot of people I work with are very much city people, and so they don't really understand a lot of what I like to do and the hobbies that I have, but nonetheless they are still very supportive in them, and that's just very important to me. My dog's hanging out with me this afternoon. They like to eat my flowers, so sometimes I don't allow them. Not today though. Yeah, so I actually have way more of these seeds left than I thought I would have, especially from the first group, so that makes me real excited, because that means I'll just save more and maybe come back and plant it once these get in the ground, start another batch so that I can really keep things going all summer long. I was originally only going to do about 2 rows of each, but these flowers are honestly just so pretty, and since I had enough, I went ahead and did 3. So that's the first set. And when I get done with them, I just fold the package back up, make sure that there's no liquid on it, because I don't want those seeds to get ruined, especially if I plan on saving them. And then I stick them right into a handy dandy Ziploc baggie. And that one is done. I'm gonna mark it so I don't forget them and move on to the next one. So I section out a lot of the seeds I'm going to do, so I have them kind of the same varieties or the same things in the same area. This group is kind of just a random batch of bags of like my random seeds. And so this next one are some Black-Eyed Susans. They are Paradise Sun is the variety. I wish I had saved the pictures / remembered what they look like on their website. They're also from Floret, but I don't. Shame on me. So same thing, I'm going to be putting about 16 seeds. Depending on how many are in here, I might try to do 3 rows of these too, because I do think that these are very pretty. But I really probably should stick to my 2 a thing limit just to keep everything under control. Now the good thing with these is I might only have enough to do 2, so that's a good thing in itself. So this one, it comes in a package like this, same kind of thing, also from Floret. And these can get anywhere from 28 to 32. They need full sun, and they take 100 to 120 days to maturity. So these will be a little while before I start to see flowers from them, but hopefully it'll be worth it. This year, like I've said multiple times, is honestly all about just the learning process and everything. And with gardening, I've always had an interest in it, and I've always been very much wanting to do my own garden. This is the first year though that our yard has been in good enough shape to be able to. So I'm gonna take advantage of it. Now with that though, it means I'm gonna make mistakes, which I've already experienced. And mistakes are natural, it's normal, it's part of learning. If you don't make mistakes, you don't learn. If you don't make mistakes, you're not growing. And so I try not to look at mistakes as mistakes and more as just learning opportunity. The tip that I got from Sarah with Blooming Gray is to use a pencil. And so I went into our little junk drawer and just found the first pencil I could find. It happens to be this rainbow one. I don't even know where it came from. Probably my kid's school. Well, speaking of my work family, sorry that got interrupted. I actually got a phone call from, I guess you could say he's my branch manager, boss kind of guy, but also one of my very best friends. He's recently started watching Game of Thrones, and he just watched The Red Wedding, so he needed to call and talk about it. It's a pretty sad moment of the show, and if you haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a game changer, so it was very important. Sorry about that. So I went ahead and planted all of the Black-Eyed Susans. I've gotten about half of this tray done, and so I should be able to get these last 2 sections of seeds done, and then I have another tray to do, but I probably won't be on here for that one. So let's see, what's this? So the next one that I have is a pincushion flower. I've never grown these before. I am very excited though to see how they turn out. Let's see what they have to say about these. So this gets to 30 to 36 inches high, full sun. It takes 90 to 100 days to germinate, so not bad, not bad. Same packaging, it's also from Floret. I bought a lot of seeds from them this year, like the first round of seeds that I did were Parker seeds, and they are beautiful, and honestly all of them germinated more than I thought. The first mistake that I did this year with the garden was actually assuming that not all my seeds would germinate, and that caused a lot of my pots to be overfilled and way too populated, and having those started as well as before the garden was really ready just made for not a great turnout for a lot of stuff. A lot of seeds got wasted and everything else, and so it does stink, honestly. Alright, and so this is what pea seeds look like. They're just, here we go. I'm trying to get it on my finger. They're just little bitty pebbles. Can you see that? That didn't work. I tried, sorry. But these are tiny, little bitty things. And so I'm just gonna drop them in. I definitely have some of these left over, so that'll be nice to try to get some of them for in case they don't take, or if they do really good and I wanna try more, just to keep the garden going this summer. We have really warm summers and falls, and so it makes it easy to kind of extend our growing season out with extra flowers. And this will just make it to where we're able to really have flowers all summer. Since we're on the topic of Game of Thrones, or we were, I will say that I am someone who's disappointed in the finale. Not enough to where like I really was upset about it. I kind of came into the Game of Thrones scene right at the end. I got caught up in it right as the last season was coming out. A lot of my coworkers watch it and got it, and you know, really hyped it up, which made me want to watch it more, not gonna lie. I'm also though the person who really does just enjoy spoilers, and so it was very easy for me, since I had coworkers who already watched it, to know key moments of the show up until the end, because I did watch that with everyone else. My husband on the other end hates spoilers, and so anytime we're watching the shows I have to be really careful not to spoil anything for him. One show that we got into was, what's it called? Sons of Anarchy. Very good show. I very much enjoyed watching it until I got curious and Googled how one of my favorite characters died, because I knew he would die, and I stopped watching it after that. I'm kind of bad about it. And as much as I would love to continue this, my husband actually just came outside, so I'm going to finish up planting these seeds with him, and I hope you have a great night, and stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm going to be doing more seeds. Bye guys.